Okay, we are live. Welcome everyone to the big show. It's your buddy Bruce here from TWB. Traveling with Bruce. Took a week off last week because of President's Day, and Jen said to me, "You got to take a day off. You need an extra day to rest." And your viewers will love you for it. And I tell you, I needed it. I was tired. Thank you all for joining me again today from wherever you are on this planet. Say hi to me. Tell me, where are you watching me from? What's your temperature today, wherever you are? What's the price of gas where you live? And hit that thumbs up button if you can for us. We appreciate you as always. It's a miracle. It's just a miracle. This show, as few viewers as I get for this show, we get 100 thumbs ups every week because the rerunners, the folks who are watching on the rerun, they watch this show at all kinds of days, all kinds of times. And then they hit the thumbs up button and they send me a little note. They say, "Hey, Bruce, I'm number 84, I'm number 92, I'm number 104. Thank you all for getting us over 100 thumbs ups. I love you for it. It's fantastic. We're well, Jen and I. We're doing just great here in Palm Desert, California. We are coming into the end of our third month of being down here. We arrived at the beginning of December, and we celebrated Christmas here. Our daughter came and joined us in January. Jennifer got her hip replacement surgery done for her second hip, her right hip, on the 16th of January. And here we are, the 26th of Feb. And last week we went to the hospital and she went to see her surgeon for her post-operation checkup. And he's given her the clean bill of health. You are good to go, girl. He says, start walking, start exercising, work with your physical therapist and do the stretches and build your strength and get your muscle tone back. The left hip that I did last year, going great. Now the right hip is going great. You are on your way. And I'm very pleased with how you're doing. So Jen is walking around the house here. No cane, no walker, just walking around like no problem. Fantastic. The pain pills are all done. All the medications are finished. She can enjoy curling on television and she can enjoy a beer. So things are really improving here. So it's all good. We're very pleased, and things are definitely ahead of last year's pace. We're now going to the swimming pool together. She can do her exercises in the pool now, and so yeah, we're on the way back. The plan now, we're here to the end of May, and we're planning on the next thing for us is a meet and greet for this channel and the other channel. And we're hoping we can do a meet and greet here in Southern California somewhere around the end of March into early April. Somewhere in that window is kind of what we're thinking about. And so when we know exactly when and where, we will pass that news on to you guys. And if any of you are down here in California or going to be in this area when we're hosting this thing, love to have you come by and say hi. It would be great to meet you in person for the first time or second time or whatever. We'd be fabulous. We'd be just fabulous. Travel-wise, we're talking. Jen and I, we're talking. We're kind of comparing notes. How is it going? What do we think? What could we think about doing? Where could we go? Number one priority is get back to Canada when we're finished here. That's late May, early June. We'll be up there June and July for sure. Then it's a matter of what happens in August and September and October. Those 3 months are kind of now being tossed about. And could it be that we will land in England in August, spend a month or so in the London area, just rent an apartment for a month, and then get ready for a cruise? Would we do a Scottish Isle cruise around the United Kingdom with stops in Ireland, check out Scotland. Could that happen? Could be. Could it be, though, that we have to travel to Copenhagen and grab a ship from Copenhagen that ultimately does some Baltic Sea area and then the UK and Ireland? I don't know. I can't tell you that. We're going to look into various ideas and maybe a cruise like that, maybe a cruise just around the UK and Ireland. And then what? I don't know. There are cruises where you can go from Northern Europe all the way to Rome, and you can do some Scottish stops and UK stops and Ireland, and then down past Portugal, Spain, and ultimately end up in Rome. That could be a cruise, and we could then do a month in Italy. Maybe that happens. I really don't know. We've nailed nothing down. We're just throwing everything in the air and going, well, how's it look? Well, I don't know. Well, how about these? Oh, well, they look okay. The balls are being thrown in the air, and we're just gonna keep figuring it out. But in the meantime, number one priority is to build Jennifer's endurance back up, because now for the last year she's built her muscles back on her left hip, but the right hip is holding her back from really getting stronger. And so really what we've done in the last year is recover the left hip muscle tone and so on. Now the right hip is done. That means she's pain free in this complete region here. Now can we build our strength and endurance levels up? That means we have more energy and we can last longer on our feet. And now we can really think about, well, we can travel now. We can do some traveling. Now, the traveling we'd like to do is something like slow traveling. That's what I'm going to call it, slow travel, where we might land in London and grab a flat for a month, travel day trips maybe a little bit and check out a lot of museums in London. And then it's a cruise. And then maybe it's 1 month in Europe in one location. And then maybe it's a cruise through the Mediterranean, something like that. We don't know. Is that a 2 to 2.5 months time frame? That could be 2.5 months. Of course, I'm on the air when we're traveling because, I just need internet and I'm in business. So that works for us that way. After all that is said and done, throw all that out of the way and go, okay, Bruce, you've now got all the way to October again, like this past year. Now what are you going to do? Well, the thought then was back in Calgary for balance of October and November, could we leave Calgary and fly maybe via Los Angeles all the way to Australia and do an Australian and New Zealand 3 month, 4 month holiday there? I can't imagine us doing a second one. So it would be like a one-timer, get in 4 months down there to experience it a little bit, and work your way back to Los Angeles and spend the last 2 months of winter here in this region, and then from here back to Calgary. Now, are we physically well enough to do that as well? And that is the question. We just don't know. We don't know. Now, when you're in Australia for 2.5 months, how do you check it out? Would you rent a vehicle when you get to Sydney, Australia, and would you now drive the coast of parts of Australia, or would you do Sydney for 2 weeks, Melbourne for a week or two, go to Tasmania for a week or two, and then fly to Brisbane and hang out in the Gold Coast for a couple of weeks, go up to Darwin? I don't anticipate us going into the interior. I don't anticipate that. And I don't anticipate going around Australia. I don't anticipate that either. We can't see it all. But how much can we see? How much would we like to see? And then the New Zealand equation comes in. Do we take a cruise from Australia to New Zealand and all around New Zealand? Do we do that and then spend time on land in New Zealand for a month? How do we do that? Do we rent an RV? Do we rent an RV in Australia and or in New Zealand and do RVing for this trip? We then can go into all kinds of out-of-the-way places with an RV as long as we're allowed to park it. How would we play that angle? I don't know. So stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff to think about and a lot of stuff to go over. Anyway, we got all kinds of fun here. Donnell O'Malley, thank you, Donnell, for becoming renewing your membership on this channel. I do appreciate it. Those of you who are sponsor members, I thank you very much for your undying support of this channel. I do a show every Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 1 hour before this show, the Hangout Show for just members only. And we talk about whatever you want. Ask me any questions, bring up a topic, talk about your trips coming up, whatever you want to talk about. And it's a casual hangout show, very easygoing. It's easy for me because I don't have to do any homework. I just have to sit there and have a chat. You're more than welcome to do that. I'd love to have as many of you as you'd like. If you'd like to become a member, just hit the join button and kick on in. Once this YouTuber gets going again, physically moving, Jen and I, there will be more content coming onto this channel. I can guarantee you that. But right now, I'm only on Monday nights with this show, the big show, and the sponsor show. But there will be more content coming as we get going again. And so stand by for that, and we'll keep you posted on all of that. Some content will be made for sponsor members only. Most content will be for all of you out there who've been following me now since 2017. I've been on the air since August 2017. Unbelievable how long it has been. Thank you all so much. Sharon, number 2 tonight. Thank you for popping in. Robert, number 3, thumbs up, everybody. Stephen Butler, number 4, 72 degrees, gas $2.94 a gallon. Another beautiful day in paradise, Northwest Arkansas. Kelly is here. Hi, Kelly Haston. Good evening, everyone. Number 6 tonight. Welcome. Ken Kareka is in the house with Jen from Saginaw, Michigan. Thank you for joining us. It's 48 degrees. It's going to 67 on Tuesday. Then we get some storms. Gas is $3.31. Good evening, all. Janet and Ken. Number 7, thumbs ups. We are here right about now. We seem to be hitting about 75 degrees for the high temperature, kind of averaging more or less. In about 2 weeks, we will probably begin to see the beginning of the 80-degree highs begin to show up in about 2 weeks. The sun's angle is now rising very quickly, and our days are getting 2 minutes longer every day. And when you go outside now, and it's 65, 70 degrees outside, that angle of the sun makes it feel hotter. You feel the power radiating off you, the sun radiating off you. So it's improving here dramatically, and it's the best time of year. Ms. M, number 8, hello, Bruce and everybody. Tim Bowman, just over from the sponsor member show, number 11. It's dark and rainy. Just finished Kevin's early short story, Fool Me Twice. I think I have one more to catch up on. Rocky is in the house. Hi there, TWB folks. It was a beautiful day in Chesapeake, Virginia. It hit 70 Fahrenheit and not a cloud in the sky. Gas is $3.05 a gallon. How about that? Sharon, it's whiplash weather here. Cold over the weekend, going up to 60 by Wednesday, then 40s again by the end of the week. Back and forth we go. We're glad to hear that Jen is healing well. Thank you very much, everybody. She really is. Donnell, good day, Bruce and all. TWBers. I'm number 12. Thumbs up, and it's just after 1 a.m. in Cork, Ireland. Thank you, my friend. Kevin Chapman, the author, is here. Hey, Bruce, glad to see you here. A beautiful day here in central New Jersey with the sun in the 50s. Spring is coming. Thumbs up, number 14. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Sharon, if Jen heals well, you guys can climb the Sydney Harbor Bridge. We did that in 2014. It was magnificent. I tell you, I would love to do it, but I'm out of shape. I've got to get in shape. Cindy Bridges, hello, everyone. Hello, Cindy Bridges. Stephen Butler with American Queen Voyages shutting down. It will be interesting to see if another company buys those boats. And John is in the house. Hi, Bruce, and everybody. Welcome, John. JK in the house. Welcome, my friend, to the show. Thank you for these thumbs ups, everybody. They're coming in. So far, we are looking at thumbs up numbers. What are they tallying at now? Tallying up to 27 thumbs up. So we're over a quarter of the way already towards our thumbs up total of 100. That's our objective. And I thank you all for helping out. Fantastic. 39 people here, 27 thumbs ups, and they're coming. Sylvia, number 27, Hybris. It was very nice here in Greensboro, North Carolina. Sunny and 70. Nice. I think we hit 75. Quite nice here, too. Great to have you all here. Cruise news. I have some cruise news for you today, definitely. You probably have heard this already. I would imagine that every single YouTuber that covers cruise ships has already covered this story. It's about the Norwegian Dawn ship. The Norwegian Dawn was over in Africa. If I've got my map here somewhere, let me show you what we are talking about. Yeah, here we go. Here's Africa, and if you look to the right, you'll see Madagascar, and then if you look a little further right, that little gold box down there, it says Mauritius. And Mauritius, the port of Lewis, is where the latest story of the Norwegian Dawn cruise ship is coming from. Here's another image of Mauritius, Madagascar there on the left, Mauritius on the right, and the Seychelles just north, and Reunion Island just a little off to the left. Apparently, the ship was supposed to come in, and passengers were supposed to get off and get on the ship. And apparently, 15 people on board this ship were ill, and they were suffering from what was thought to be a stomach flu. However, the issue here is that in the past year or so, I'll come back to this African map here. In the past year or so, some of the countries in Africa have begun to suffer from cholera, the age-old killer cholera. The worry was that maybe these 15 people who had been off the ship and on the ship, maybe they contacted cholera, and so they had to get tested. And the cruise line quickly arranged testing to be done offshore. Quickly was determined it's not cholera. There are no cases of cholera on board this ship whatsoever, and there are no cases of cholera on Mauritius either. And so, as of I guess earlier today, these folks are way ahead of us in time zones. They were all out to get off the ship, and so all is sort of calmed down over there. But apparently some people missed flights. They were supposed to disembark here and connect on flights, and some folks missed flights. So the cruise line is assisting folks with hotel stays. They're giving them per diem money for meals, helping them rearrange their flight schedules. There were 2,184 passengers that were on the ship with 1,026 crew. Only 15 people were ill, apparently. So it's not... this wasn't like a ship-wide outbreak of anything ridiculous or anything like that. So apparently we're okay. It seems to have calmed down, but boy, it made for headlines all over the world. It just dominated world headlines and really caught the eye of a lot of news directors. So there you go, the word cholera. Other news, here's a picture of a cruise ship coming out of the Meyer Werft shipyard in Germany. This is the brand new Silver Seas ship known as the Silver Ray. And this is a luxury 6-star cruise ship coming out of here. Pretty darn nice. Under construction a little while ago, it didn't look all that pretty, but it's pretty now. When they're built, they don't look all that gorgeous, but when they get them all painted up, they look pretty good. The ship here was brought out. There's the Meyer Papenburg shipyard there in Papenburg, Germany, and there she is. She's out, and this ship holds 728 passengers. It has a crew of 566. So when this ship starts sailing with passengers, you're going to have a very, very high crew to passenger ratio on this ship. This is 6-star luxury, no ifs, ands, or buts. This is I believe, an image of a sister ship of Silver Sea. If any of you have sailed on Silver Sea, you know just how good it is on Silver Sea. Let me show you something else. I found a cruise. I found a cruise on this ship. I hope this shows up. Here we go. If you're interested in getting on this ship for a pretty good price, you could attempt to book yourself on this ship on a repositioning cruise from Lisbon, Portugal to Fort Lauderdale. Here are the dates. Wednesday, December 4. So if you find yourself in Europe this fall and you can work your way to Spain and Lisbon, you'll be in nice warm weather. Get to Lisbon on the 4th of December, and you will take this ship for a sea day, and then you'll have 2 days in Madeira, Portugal, the island off the coast. And then you're at sea for, I guess it's 6 or so days, 6 or 7 days. Then you end up in Antigua, a couple of nights in San Juan, Puerto Rico, a couple more nights, and you end up in Fort Lauderdale. And you end up cruising on this very luxurious cruise ship where every cabin is an outside cabin. Almost all of them have balconies. I mean, there's a handful that don't. The cost of this cruise, this is a 15-night cruise. So for 15 nights, you can get a suite or a balcony suite for the same price, $4,600 a person, which includes all gratuities for 15 nights, all alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, all shore excursions, and unlimited internet on board. So if you've got 2 people with 2 devices each, that's 4 devices. Usually that can run like $60 a day, depending on the cruise line now for devices like internet. That's a $900 saving. Shore excursions, there aren't many stops, so who's kidding who? You might get $200 or $300 for the shore excursion. But this alcohol package, I would say you're saving $60 to $80 a day on prices for alcohol. It's included, so that's equal to like $1,200. So $1,200 and $900 on the internet. There's $2,100 in base goodies, and then the gratuities. 15 days at, I would say, at least $20 a person. $40, that's $600 saving right there. So the savings are thousands of dollars. So it's a $9,200 cruise, less what you would have paid on top of that. I mean, think about it this way: for $4,600, you're on a 6-star luxury cruise line, the best of the best, and it's $300 a day average per person. This is fair. It's a fair deal. That's for what you're getting on this cruise. Yes, it's a fair deal. Here's one more picture of the itinerary. You can see what I mean here: Lisbon to Funchal, Madeira, then to San Juan and to America. Not a bad little way to come back home. Instead of flying, take that trip instead. Not bad. All right, way to go, Silver Sea! Congratulations on launching the Silver Ray cruise ship from Germany. That's good news right there. Another new ship to enjoy. All right, other news. Okay, here we go. I want to talk to you about Carnival Cruise Lines. They made an announcement, I think it was today or yesterday. They are doing this. Let me show you this photo here. There you go. So what's happening is this is an artist rendition of an island getaway that they're building right here, but it's a little misleading. I'm gonna show you this photo here. This is again an artist rendition. Celebration Key at Grand Bahama. Now let's be real, okay? This is a private property that Carnival has made arrangements with the Bahamian government to build a lagoon type private water park resort area with beachfront property and interior swimming area, cordoned off from the rest of the Bahamas. So only passengers of Carnival can really go here. So don't be surprised though that there'll be a Holland American ships coming here. Princess cruise ships will come here. Any brand that Carnival has will be able to come here. But what's happened here is the company has announced that they're going to expand this thing. This is what it looked like, artist rendition. Here's another version of this thing, a little closer. There's nothing here to look at now. It's all under construction. So this is what it's going to look like. You're going to have this grand promenade, and then these water play areas for the kids and for families, and there will be food places, water slides, all kinds of fun stuff to do here. It's a great place to spend the day. You're going to be cordoned off from the general public, and so you're in a private beachfront property setting, very secure. And what they want to do is to build out this property a little further. They want to expand it a bit more. Again, this is another computerized imagery of what this will look like. So if the water is too rough for the beach itself, you'll come inland here in this lagoon area and you'll enjoy yourself here. Right in the middle here are probably a bunch of restaurants and arcades and all kinds of fun for kids, and the water slides over there and ping pong, and I'm sure just all kinds of neat stuff to do. So there'll probably be mini golf and, a good time had by all. This picture shows the expansion of the second pier. They were set up for 2 ships. Now they're going to set up for 4. And this setup will allow the largest ships Carnival has to now also dock here. And they're going to expand into phase 2. So you can see on the top of that picture on the top left, the expansion of this entire water park feature is going to be done. So now the story goes that this area here should be up and running approximately 2025, next year. This will be all ready to go. Now they're talking about the expansion being ready for 2026. So basically, this is going to be a very aggressive construction area now for the next year, all the way into 2025, and then probably behind fences for the second part expansion. So this is what's going on. Now, I got to tell you something, and this is just, your buddy Bruce here laying out a little bit of info for you. This is a brilliant move by Carnival. Brilliant move by Carnival. We're talking about a resort area here that is 15, 20 miles away from where they get their ships dry docked in Freeport, Bahamas, on Grand Bahama Island. If I got the geography correct, this is very close. And what I really wanted to emphasize to you was the distance from Miami to this place right here, this Celebration Key. I don't think it's 100 miles. I don't think it's more than 100 miles away. This is absolutely brilliant for Carnival to pull off. You buy a 1-week cruise on Carnival, and they will take you to Nassau. Like, you'll have a sea day, then you go to Nassau, and you go to downtown, and they have a port facility there you can enjoy. As a matter of fact, my buddy Tony made a video today about Nassau. Then you get back on the ship, go back into international waters, and the ship the next day can come here to this place, dock here for the whole day, and you and the family can go on shore and have yourselves a great old time. For Carnival, this is brilliant. The ship has only sailed 90 miles to Nassau, another 50 miles, 60 miles, 80 miles to here. And you've got 3 days of your cruise already done out of 7. 3 are done. You got on the ship day 1. You had a sea day, that's 2. Oh, number 3 is Nassau. Number 4 is here. 4 are done. There's only 3 to go. They're setting this up in such a way that they could now take you to Princess Key for the 4th or 5th day, and then you have a sea day and you go back to Miami. This ship will only travel 700-800 miles. Any of the ships you're on. The amount of fuel that Carnival will save from not taking you to the Turks and Caicos, not taking you to San Juan, Puerto Rico, not taking you to Cayman Islands, not taking you to Mexico, just leaving Florida and popping down to Princess Cay, to this Celebration Cay, and into Nassau proper. These guys are saving a fortune in fuel charges. And you are going to get a $700, $1,000 cruise with these day stops. Now, on land, on these stops, you'll probably be able to, at two of the spots, Princess Key and this one, Celebration Key, you'll be able to rent Sea-Doos. You might be able to rent other toys. You probably can rent a cabana. You could probably rent, upgraded services on these locations. Brilliant. Carnival has found ways to add on, just like Royal Caribbean with their private island and others. They have these services they offer on land that you pay extra for on top of your cruise. In reality, your cruise ship is just a hotel. Now, there are a lot of activities you can do on the ship, and you don't have to get off the ship if you don't want to. You can stay on board, let these folks go on this land thing. You have the ship to yourself, but you're not sailing anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You're in the same time zone. You haven't even left the time zone of the U.S., I would imagine. Fascinating. Absolutely brilliant move by Carnival. They're spending $100 million to expand this facility here. They're doing another $100 million. They've probably already spent $160 to $200 million on this thing here. So it's a $350 million overall expenditure. This is chump change because a brand new cruise ship now of 5,000 passengers is $1 billion, $1.2 billion, $1.4 billion in money. This $350 million investment, chump change for the government of the Bahamas. This is a lottery win for these guys because they've just instituted a new daily tax, a port charge it's a head tax for every person on board a cruise ship. So these ships are coming to this spot right here. They're going to be able to handle 4 ships at a time. Don't be surprised if there are 12 to 15,000 people getting off these cruise ships, 4 of them, for that private water park island right there that they put together. That's going to be huge. This is going to be a huge moneymaker for the Bahamas because they're now charging 10% tourist tax on every drink that you pay for, every service you pay for. So if you're going to rent a cabana for $500 for the day, $50 tax is going to be added onto it, going to the Bahamian government. You're buying a fancy drink on board the on that island. It's a $15 drink, $1.50 tax to the government. You're spending money to hold a wedding there or whatever. Oh, there's taxation coming to the Bahamas, plus the head tax for people who land in the Bahamas. This is huge for the Bahamian government. Big money. Of course, the staff in that facility, this facility here that you're going to frequent, all the staff that maintain it, all the staff that will run it, all the services that are needed to run the barbecues, the food stands, the lifeguards, the security people, maintenance guys, all those employees are Bahamian. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. It's a win-win for the cruise line and the Bahamian government. The hope I have is that for tourists, cruisers, that they're happy with this experience. And I definitely can see if you are a mother and a father and you have a young child with you or 2 kids or 3 kids, this is your vacation. This is the one right here. You don't have to worry about these kids getting lost or going anywhere. They're inside an enclosed facility with security everywhere. I tell you, it's perfect. It's a great way to enjoy a little bit of everything. You got cruising in the evening, fun experiences during the day. It all works out. And if Carnival can mix it up with Princess Key and this one here, Half Moon Key, now you're talking. Now you are offering family get-togethers that could really work out, where families will get 20 family members, 30 family members will all pile into the Carnival Jubilee cruise ship that holds 5,000+ people, and this location will be part of the whole thing. Yeah, that'll be a good time. That is smart marketing by Carnival. Disney, of course, is building their second island. Royal Caribbean has Coco Key. This is smart marketing 101. Keep these close to the mainland, reduce the mileage of your cruise ships dramatically, and soak these folks big money for on-land services. You got it going. It's what you got to do. News out of Alaska. Apparently, Skagway has had issues. Now, folks, you might know this already, but let me show you a couple of photos here from Skagway. If you've been to Alaska, you might be aware of this story. It's a couple of years now going on here. The pier where the rail line is has been having problems with rock slides in the area. And here's an overhead shot of what we're talking about. Look at that cruise ship at the very bottom of the picture there. And then take a look at the slides. You can see these slides, way up on the left part of the photo. The north slide, you notice where there are no trees, and then the south slide area. This is a problem, and Skagway is trying to figure out what to do about it. They can't, they've tried to minimize the slides, but you're not going to stop Mother Nature from having this happen. So how do you do it? Look at this picture here. This is a shot here of Skagway again from the air, and you can see on the right side is where the pier is, right beside the mountain. And then there are all those private yachts and ships in that little marina area. And then in the middle of the shot, you've got a couple of cruise ships that can go there. And then over on the other side, you will see the river coming out, and you can also see the runway there where planes fly in and out of Skagway. Not a lot of land to live in Skagway, as you can plainly see. So the solution to the problem was they were going to install some floating piers. And they figured that they would install some floating piers that could handle the size of these big ships and the tons of passengers getting on and off. And these floating piers will rise and fall with the tide, and will be very pliable and will work well. Now, the problem here is that the floating pier, it had an accident with it. It was being towed in behind some sea tugs, I guess, and they ran into some rough weather, and they had some damage. And apparently the tugs towed in the piers into Ketchikan. And at the moment in Ketchikan, they're being repaired there. That is the story. And they're hopeful that these 500 by 100 foot sections of floating pier will ultimately make their way back to Skagway in time for this year's season. Here's another example of a floating pier. You can see these what do you call them? Bollards, I suppose. They're drilled into the bottom there, and the ship is tied up to those things. And then you've got that floating flat surface beside the ship, where passengers get on and off the ship. And then, of course, you have the walkway, in this case, onto shore. The walkways are just, the last one is cantilevered. The other two on the shore don't move, but the third one that goes to the ship will tip up and down based on the tide, and the floating dock will go up and down. And that's an example of a floating pier, just so you know. Anyway, there are issues. Here's another picture of the problems Skagway has been having, where they have set up these fences. You might notice the fence up at the top of the picture there to kind of catch the rocks when they're coming down. And there's another fence right at the very bottom down there, kind of catching rocks. But this is a problem. You cannot continue right now with that. That's an issue. And the solution is to put the ships elsewhere and not have them in harm's way. This, again, is before the slides began, and this image is after slides have been going on now for a couple of years. It's getting worse. The more rain they get, the worse the slides. And of course, once the slides happen, you have this exposed mud pack. Not good. More deterioration, and it's coming down. So that's not a good thing. Okay, so that's Skagway news for you. And now I have one more piece of news for you. And but before I get there, let me just double check something here. Where am I on this screen? There we go. There. Let me put this here. And then let me go back to there. And here we go. Thank you, everybody, for all these comments. And thank you for saying hi to me, everybody. John, JK, hi, Bruce and all. 80 degrees Fahrenheit here in Bangkok. It's 8:15 in the morning. Welcome, John. JK, thank you, buddy, for joining me. Kevin, Tim Bowman, one more free short story you can get: the car, the dog, and the girl. Thanks. An hour by the pool and an aft deck for that one. Kevin, I'll look it up and get it. Don't you have a big novel just out? Tim, new novel, The Other Murder, out in Kindle this Thursday. Right on, Kevin. Splair, when Germans want to work 1 to 2 years, or most Polish people 3 to 4 years, in order to get 15 nights on a swimming pool paradise. Man, that looks great. Splair from Dortmund, these cruise lines are somewhere for sure expensive. That was the cheapest possibility. Yeah, I showed you some expensive cruising, but those aren't there are some pretty good deals out there, Splair. Thanks for joining me from Dortmund. Sharon, I have a question. In a year, we will be on a cruise with stops in Aruba, Curacao, and Bonaire. Does anyone have recommendations for what to do in these islands, other than the beaches, obviously? Anybody have any thoughts? JJ, good evening, Uncle Bruce. Thanks, JJ, for coming in. Larry Blake, thumbs up number 33. Thank you guys for these thumbs ups. Keep them coming in if you can. Tim, Sharon, if you're a snorkeler, there are lots of excursions in all three ports. At Curacao, we really like snorkeling with the turtles. At Bonaire, go to the nearby little island. Tim Bowman, on Aruba, I'd recommend visiting the park on the other side of the island. Here's some news for you. That's good advice. Rocky, you discussed 2 weeks ago the new fees that the Bahamian government was adding. I assume that these new fees will be included in this location. Oh, yeah, they'll be in there. Now, I don't know if the Bahamian government is making a deal with Carnival, where if you come into Nassau and then you go to a private island and then you go to another private island, are we going to nail you a head tax on every one, or is it just one for the cruise? And the other two are kind of included. I don't know the details about that. Whatever the price, the passenger will pay. Sharon, Tim, thanks for the recommendation, but snorkeling isn't my thing. I freak out breathing through a tube. I saw the island near the port in Bonaire. That looks like a nice, cost-efficient trip. May I assume the beach there is rather nice? Tim, I've not been to the beach. The island is really known for snorkeling, according to other tourists we spoke to. Good to know. Thank you, Tim. Sharon, number 34, thumbs up. By the way, 66 more, and you got 100, Bruce. Tim Bowman, but I would make some inquiries. We like Bonaire, but Aruba is probably our favorite. There's also a cool rock formation and lighthouse north of downtown. A car or taxi or excursion is required. Kirk's YouTube and Facebook channel, The Man is in the House from New York. I was just back from MSC Divina on my way home. Welcome, my friend. I hope to hear from you on how that went for you. Sharon, good to know, Tim. Thank you. Rocky, I love Skagway. I can't imagine what rough seas might do to a floating pier and the connected ship. Yeah, I just, don't know, my friend. I can't even imagine. I can imagine the U.S. Coast Guard is all over this, trying to figure out what to do. But yeah, this is a problem. When you try to have cruise ports for cruise passengers in the rough and tumble Alaska area, yeah, kind of tough. All right, let me show you one more thing. One of my viewers earlier mentioned that the folks over at American Queen Voyages have gone under. It's now in Chapter 11. Unfortunately, that is true. The Mississippi has always, drawn people's imagination. Ships like this, the Queen of the Mississippi was one of the ships that the cruise line had, and unfortunately, this ship is now in Chapter 11 with the entire line. What's going to happen to this vessel? Unfortunately, if you're trying to operate a cruise line on the Mississippi River, you are up against some unbelievable expenses. I mean, that's really the bottom line here. To operate a cruise line in America, you are at a severe disadvantage because Americans and others can go to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Port Canaveral, New Orleans, Galveston, Los Angeles, San Diego, Long Beach. You can get a cruise out of Seattle, and you can go on a 1 week long cruise to Alaska or Mexico or through the Caribbean. And you're on a cruise ship that is, generally speaking, an ocean liner with international crews, third world country employees. And these cruise lines do not have to pay American wages with all the benefits. Unfortunately, this ship right here, this vessel on the Mississippi, you've got to be fully Americanized. The entire crew has got to be American. All the work rules and the overtime hours and the perks. You got to contribute to 401ks or to pension plans or to Social Security, or to unemployment. I mean, all the deductions. And so these operators are up against a world of hurt when it comes to trying to make any money. The cost to a passenger to be on this cruise line was prohibitively expensive. And in the past years, the one thing that this cruise line could offer was an experience on the Mississippi. And it made people think about the old days. And it's not that you and I or anyone you know was alive when a photo like this was taken. These shots from the early 1900s are quite unique in that, we're looking at here the most modern technology of the day to ply the Mississippi River in the 1900s. Here's another shot right here. It's not very high quality, but it's been colorized. And you can see horses that have been brought with wagons to offload goods and people and so on, or pick people up. This shot right here is one of my favorite pictures. This is a great shot. This picture is restored, of course. It's colorized, and it has been sharpened up like an HD photograph. Isn't this incredible? It's like you are sitting on a horse just off the out of the way a little bit, and you're taking a photo with your iPhone, high resolution photo, and look at these ships and look at the little details that you can see here. Of course, you see the gangplanks that are necessary to get on and off the ships. You'll notice that on the second ship, there are it looks like gentlemen carrying cotton probably on their backs, bales of cotton, I suppose, onto the ship here. Hours of time were required to load and unload these units. You've got the ship sitting there with their engines going, probably coal-fired, I would imagine, and they're waiting to depart once they're loaded up. Here you have, down right in front of us, you have these gentlemen waiting with their wagons and their goods to have their goods brought onto the ship. There are agents on board or on the ground there who are counting the bales and making sure that all the bales are accounted for on the ground and on the ship when they get there, and we'll do the vice versa when they get to where they're going. And you have these, very docile mules and horses who are, a lifetime of servitude to mankind that do this work every day, in and day out. They're not spooked by the vessels. They're not spooked by the noises. They're just standing there waiting to move on and get fed and on the end of another day. This was normal. This was the normal 1905 time frame in some parts of the Mississippi. And these vessels were the way to move goods and services. Here's an original black and white photo of probably the same scene or very close to exactly the same scene, perhaps a different time of the day, where you can see straw being piled up. You see cotton being carried on, all kinds of product being put onto these ships to be transported either to New Orleans, or this is New Orleans, or Memphis, or wherever they're going to or coming from. And of course, these ships also move passengers, and they had, in some cases, very luxurious accommodations for those who could afford it. You would have had casinos on board these vessels, poker rooms, that kind of thing. Have you ever seen the movie, what was it, with Maverick, with, is it with Gibson? Mel Gibson? You would have seen some Hollywood versions of these kinds of ships. But these vessels were owned by either individuals or by corporations who made a lot of money. This is the way of moving product in North America. To get goods from New Orleans to Chicago, you would have gone up the Mississippi to St. Louis at least. You would have gone up and then transferred perhaps to rail, and then vice versa, Chicago down to St. Louis, onto these, all the way down to New Orleans, and who knows from there around the world. Shipping to Europe and back would have been done this way. Back in the day. Absolutely fascinating. I love, again, the clarity of this photo. You can really kind of get a better sense and feel for it. You can almost hear the sounds in the background. The glorious days of the Mississippi in its prime. They weren't all pretty ships. Let's be real. These ships were either brand new or up to maybe 50 years of age, if they lasted that long. They were probably breaking down a lot. They were probably being slapped together to keep on going. They probably started off as luxury ships and then ended up as transport ships, just to move, cotton, hay, straw, wheat, barley, livestock, you name it. And some of these ships would not have been a pleasant experience to work on. I can imagine they would not have been pleasant at all to work on some of these real stinkers of ships that were just moving the worst of cargo you can imagine. But then there would have been the luxurious ones that would have had the finest table linens, the finest restaurant service, the finest accommodations of its day. But it's a sad story to see this line go under in Chapter 11. This, I think, is a shot of the Viking ship now, if I'm not mistaken. This is the Viking line. And by the way, Viking, the word on Viking is they're going public. They're going to do an IPO on Viking cruise lines. The story out of New York the other day was that Viking has filed an IPO with the SEC to take the company public, and that the first salvo of cash they want to raise is $500 million by issuing stock to investors. The company has been well funded, has been heavily funded by a private concern out of Switzerland, but now they're taking the company public to raise cash. Now, they may well do a public offering of stock, and then they might do a public offering of bonds behind it that are convertible into stock at even higher prices. They might pull something like that up. I don't know. We'll find out when the documents are all filed and where everything is released to everyone. We'll see what's going on. But that's the story today on cruising. Now, that's my story. I didn't want to tell you today about another story about, engine trouble, or another story about gastrointestinal viruses. The one on the Dawn is bad enough. We don't need to hear any more of that kind of stuff. But I thought I'd give you some stories a little different than what you've been used to, and a little different than what we've heard before. Anyway, thank you all so much for popping in here with me today. The thumbs up meter, thank you guys for being here today and hitting the thumbs up button. If you're able to nail it for me, please do. We now have 37 thumbs ups, approaching 40, hopefully 50 shortly. And the rerunners maybe can get us the rest of the way home. That would be a lovely thing. Thank you all so much for helping out this channel. Let's see here. Kirk says, great cruise. I don't know why people hate MSC. I had a great time, he says. Tim Bowman, Skagway is pretty protected port at the end of a long fjord. The challenge with the dock on the right is the proximity to the adjoining cliff. Sharon, a tangent, the Skagway Brewing Company is looking to complete its bureaucratic paperwork so it can ship beer to the mainland. I'm waiting to be able to order its Spruce Tip Ale. Rocky Spruce Tip Ale, note taken. I hope it's shipped to Virginia. There you go. It's a long drive, a truck ride, I guess, from Seattle to Virginia, or by rail, I guess. I don't know. But beer's got to be moved. There's no doubt about that. Got to get the beer over there. There you go, everybody. There's the latest on cruising for you today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Thank you again for all of you who support this channel. 38 thumbs ups and counting. Absolutely beautiful. Keep them coming in, and thank you all. Have yourselves a great week this week. If you see anybody that you haven't seen in a while, give them an extra long hug. You never know when it's the last time. And catch up with me next week. Sharon, have a great week, Bruce and TWB family. We'll see you next Monday for another big show. Thank you for joining in today, and enjoy yourselves. And we'll catch you next week with updates on what's going on around here. Robert, see you tomorrow morning, Uncle Bruce. You got it, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow on the other channel. Robert Blend, I am number 38 on that thumbs up meter of yours. They're coming in. Thank you, rerunners, as well, for hitting the thumbs up button for us. And we'll see you here next Monday for members of this channel. Don't forget, sponsor members, the Hangout Show at 7 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Eastern for the big show. Donnell, yep, enjoy tonight's show. See you all next Monday. Bruce and all, thanks, Donnell. As always, my friend, great to have you here. We'll see you next Monday as well. Okay, everybody, bye for now from Palm Desert, California.